Welcome back to tonight's international friendly between the United States of America and Scotland, presented by Panasonic. Kickoff is moments away here in Jacksonville. It's time for Kyle's Corner, presented by Continental Tire. Kyle, what have you got for us today?
Well, you hear the buzzword possession thrown out all the time, and when Jurgen Klinsmann said, I want the United States to be a possession team, he meant possession with a purpose. Not just keeping the ball to not give it away, but getting players in dangerous goal-scoring situations, getting players up the flanks, because if you don't have possession, a 4-3-3 turns into a 4-5-1 really quickly, and for Scotland, stay compact and counter. This is a team that's good, disciplined defensively, but you have attacking threats out there. Try to get those guys on the ball in transition.
Thank you, Kyle. Tonight, referee Elmer Bonilla, an English teacher from San Salvador. 5 games spanning 18 days in 3 countries. Jurgen Klinsmann's USA team will take a tournament mentality into a spell of action that culminates in those 2 World Cup qualifiers. The road to Brazil 2014 about to get underway for teams around the globe. Scotland starts off in possession. James McArthur, who plies his trade for Wigan Athletic, one of 3 Wigan sides in this starting 11 tonight for Scotland. They were the form team in the English Premier League over the last few weeks of the season, going 7-2 to save off relegation. America have the ball for the first time. A big night tonight for that man, Jeff Campbell. This is from Michael Bradley, 65th international cap tonight for him. Son of the former coach Bob Bradley, of course, who took the United States to the 2010 World Cup finals.
Well, already you see Torres and Donovan playing very narrow. They're opening up those flanks for Cherundolo and Johnson to get forward. Torres withdrawing into the midfield, a lot like Clint Dempsey did against Italy.
Here's Jurgen Klinsmann, coach of the United States, talking about that tournament mentality. He wants the team to play each match and then focus on the next one. Craig Levein, only 1 match in the postseason friendly time for him this year. USA do fouled. Scott Brown, a combative midfielder, the captain of Glasgow Celtic back in the Scottish Premier League. Cherundolo. Scotland has the edge in series history. The first time these 2 sides met was on Randall's Island in 1949, a victory for Scotland. The Scottish Football Association don't recognise that match. Interestingly, US Soccer do. Only victory for the USA over Scotland came in 1996 in New Britain. Goals from Eric Ronaldo and Kobe Jones. And it looks like a 4-3-3 in the early stages from the visitors tonight, Carl, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and they've struggled trying to get possession, trying to make sure they can stay in a 4-3-3. We'll see if Scotland can do that tonight. Jermaine
Jones tries to thread it through to Terence Boyd, unsuccessfully this time. Kenny Miller, as you mentioned there, Kyle, it could be a 4-5-1 easily. Miller is all alone on the halfway line. It's a system that Craig Levein has used before. He'll really want to get Phillip and Maloney forward in support. Matt Phillips is playing his first international match tonight. Bardsley gives the ball away. Torres, Bradley surging forward. Opportunity at the edge of the penalty. He works his way through to Landon Donovan and it's saved by McGregor. Donovan again! Number 47 in international soccer for Landon Donovan.
Well, it started with great pressure. Fortunate little rebound, but Landon goes high there. There are 3 Scotland defenders there. Instead of trying to slide it on the ground, he has the wherewithal to go high with that, and it starts with that giveaway. Great pressure here. Cheeky little pass from Torres. Great first touch from Bradley. It gets poked away, but look at that first touch from Landon to set it up, pirouette, get turned, and that's great right there. That was like the goal he scored in the World Cup where he's near post, looked for an option and rifled it, roofs that one, and Landon Donovan is back.
That was against Slovenia at Ellis Park in Johannesburg in a 2-2 draw. Tonight, he's given the USA the lead against Scotland in a week where he has been so reflective and philosophical almost about his future as a pro soccer player, as an international. He says he can see the end coming. He questions his hunger sometimes, but when he heard the roar of the crowd then when the ball hit the back of the net, well, there was a smile on his face, and I'm sure the adrenaline is pumping. 125 starts tonight for Landon Donovan. He's beaten Jeff Agoose's record, and what a way to start it off. 1-0 USA.
Well, it's funny. I played with Landon since we were teenagers, and he's been doing this since he was young. Opportunistic in the final third. Great first touch from Michael Bradley. Jones takes a little too long on it, but look at that turn. Takes a touch. It's a fortunate bounce, but how quick is he to get onto that rebound? And no, he can't put that low. He's got to go high with it. And along his career, so many people have questioned, his desire. When he was in Germany and it didn't go well, everyone said it wasn't going to work. When we were at the under-20s and he left for the U.S., everyone said he wouldn't care when he got back to under-20s. And he proved everyone wrong every single time anyone challenged him.
But it's Gary Caldwell under great pressure. In fact, it's Charlie Mulgrew, the Celtic man. And he's forced the mistake out of Mulgrew. Throw into the United States. Cherundolo takes. Edu, who plies his trade in Scotland with Glasgow Rangers. Those of you familiar with the global game will know that the two big Glasgow clubs in Scotland called the Old Firm, Glasgow Rangers and Glasgow Celtic. Edu. Here's a man from Glasgow Rangers, the captain of Rangers, Carlos Bocanegra. Cherundolo. Houston Dynamo's Jeff Cameron. As you saw on NBC Sports Network earlier today, Cameron's Houston Dynamo beating the LA Galaxy by 2-1 at BBVA Compass Stadium. Here's Bradley. Amazing to think he's only 24 years of age. Started 34 games in Serie A in Italy this year, Bradley, for Chievo, who finished a respectable 10th in a very tough league.
He's playing with so much confidence, and just to my left shoulder, Jurgen Klinsmann will sprint to the dotted line saying, keep moving, 1 and 2 touch. He wants players to constantly change position, so it's difficult for Scotland to pick him up.
Good spell of possession this for the Americans, but it's just broken up by Scotland. Here's Gary Caldwell of Wigan Athletic. To Andy Webster. This time last week, Webster was playing at the National Stadium in Scotland, Hampden Park, as his team from Edinburgh, heart of Midlothian, won the Scottish Cup 5-1 over their crosstown rivals Hibernian. A day to forget for the Hibbies. Mulgrew. MacArthur. Now Scott Brown, who's actually a Hibs fan, although he plays for Glasgow Celtic, and bought a ticket to go and support his team last week at Hampden Park. It didn't end well. Thomas Boyd and Janine Jones is on the floor. They're falling awkwardly. There's Jones from Schalke 04 in the Bundesliga in Germany. Barry Bannon of Aston Villa in the English Premier League spreads the play to Mulgrew. Playing rather narrow at the moment, Cherundolo, and that means Landon Donovan has sprinted back to help out, forces him back to MacArthur, who's getting on the ball quite a lot in these early stages. Now Brown in a central position. Bannon. Out on the right-hand side is Bardsley, the fullback who's got forward. Awaken the Americans again. Surging run by Jones. Now here's Landon Donovan. Low cross comes in. He can't beat the first man on this occasion. Andy Webster. Michael Bradley started that off. The genesis of that move was inside the Americans' half. Well,
what was great about that is Bradley drops deep, and immediately Jones flies forward into the hole that Bradley left.
Donovan just worried he was offside in that situation. The pass was over him. There's Jurgen Klinsmann. Just so fascinating sitting and talking to Landon Donovan yesterday, wasn't it, Kyle? And you've known him for a long time. You know that he's fallen in and out of love of the game down the years. How do you assess his current mood?
Well, you know, and I know how he feels. I fell out of love with soccer too. I had so many injuries and I had to stop at 28. It just didn't feel that way anymore. And Landon is being candid. A lot of players go through that. Even Jurgen Klinsmann said, you know, I've gone through that in my career. Fortunately, I could switch countries and go get a fresh start. But for Landon Donovan, I think he's just mature now. He's being honest. He's saying, you know, I might not have the love I used to have. It's dwindled a little bit. But one thing's for sure, when he steps over that white line, Landon Donovan delivers. And we just saw him when he puts that U.S. jersey on. All of those thoughts, all of those motions go out the window.
Said he was happy for Clint Dempsey to be seen as the main man in this U.S. national team. He just wants the team to win, Landon Donovan. And if that means playing around Clint Dempsey when he's fit, then so be it. A magnanimous attitude by a man who's just continually breaking records for the US national team. Bradley again. Landon Donovan again. Space on the edge of the area. Bradley's going to hit one! Oh, I say! Absolutely magnificent from Michael Bradley. His 10th international goal. The USA on fire in Jacksonville.
What a beautiful sequence here. Great ball in from Landon Donovan. This is such a difficult ball to hit. As that drops down, Bradley has to time that perfectly. Look at this ball from Landon Donovan. Gets some height on it. Good layup. As that hops up, he catches it on the half bounce, slices it a little bit, but has to make sure he stays over it. And watch Jurgen Klinsmann's reaction.
Oh, he liked that. Goals? He liked that.
What a beautiful strike.
He scored a few in his time, Jurgen Klinsmann. But that was simply majestic from Bradley. The technique involved in that, Kyle. The half volley, the fade, the curl into the top corner. Wonderful. He played every minute of the 2010 World Cup Finals. Scored the equaliser in that game we were talking about earlier against Slovenia. 6 years today for Michael Bradley since his first cap for the USA. As a mere 18-year-old against Venezuela. This is cap number 65. Away goes Landon Donovan, and there's just a little bit too much juice on that ball. What a start, Kyle.
Well, we've talked about the United States starting 2012, solid defensively. 3 shutouts in a row. Going to Italy, what a hard place to get a result and get a shutout. And now we're seeing that offensive side of things click. And Jurgen Klinsmann, I don't know if it translates right from German, but he said, I want the players to smell each other out there. I want them to have that instinct. And what he means is that sort of preternatural understanding, as you just saw right there, to not think, just do. Perfect layoff, great 3-man sequence.
He just wants the ball wherever he is on the field, Michael Bradley. He's a general in there. I was surprised, for one, that he didn't make more of an impact on that loan spell at Aston Villa in the EPL. He made a few appearances off the bench, couldn't break into the first team. He's gone to Italy. He's become a major player in that league. And that was a big-time goal from Michael Bradley.
One of the things I'm surprised about in Scotland is they're playing a 4-3-3, and they're putting the first line of pressure high, but they're not actually putting pressure on the back four. They're sort of just sitting in that position, and that opens up all sorts of space through the midfield for the United States to pick apart.
You look at that engine room, Kyle, for the Americans, Bradley, Adu and Jones. There's some real quality in there, isn't it, in the centre of the park? Look at Scotland for the first time, looking reasonably threatening, but not this time. Ball forward towards Boyd. We'll keep the pressure on. We'll keep the Scots honest back there. All grew. Pressured by Jones, a little overzealous this time. And it's a free kick to the visiting Scots. Here's another look at the goal, Kyle.
Well, look at the calmness of Landon Donovan. Just picks his head up, chips it in. Layoff not the best, but that's a dream bounce right there. Catches it perfectly, and the slice actually takes the ball away from the goalkeeper. What a glorious hit from Michael Bradley.
Been a long season in Europe for a lot of these Scotland players, but it has been as well for a lot of these American players. Have the Scots got something left in the tank to mount a comeback in this international friendly at Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida? Delighted to have you with us tonight. Bardsley Oh, Kenny Miller's there. Oh, it's an own goal. Kenny Miller with the header. And has it come off Jeff Cameron last and gone into the net? The Tartan Army are delighted. Tim Howard less so. 15th minute, it's 2-1 already. Was it onside?
Well, he's leaning a little bit offside as it struck, and he's definitely onside as that ball comes in. Takes a step back, and if there's one person you have to stay goal side on, it's that man right there, Miller. Gets a fortunate deflection off Cameron. Great ball into him, but checks that offside line like a crafty forward. Just beats it. Great play from Scotland.
Kenny Miller will not get the goal. It'll be an own goal by Jeff Cameron. Miller is the 6th highest goal scorer in Scotland history, just 3 behind the former Rangers legend Ali McCoist. Looking to add to his tally tonight. And Scotland playing with a newfound verve and confidence. Enthralling stuff here in Jacksonville at the moment, and that's a foul. That could be the first yellow card of the night, although referee Bonnier was a fair distance away from the foul. He saw enough to give the free kick. A little talking to for Phil Bardsley. Started his career at Manchester United. Let's take another look at the own goal here then, Carl.
Great first-time ball, but no need at that point to take a step forward and try to pull those 2 forwards offside. At that point, the ball's coming in. You've reacted a little bit late. There was no pressure on the ball. Take 2 steps back and attack that ball and stay goal side.
4th cap tonight for his country for Jeff Cameron, 26 years old. Started all 10 games of the season so far for the Houston Dynamo before today. Started both friendlies in January camp against Panama and against Venezuela. He was actually sent off against Panama after a clash with Blas Perez, now of FC Dallas. A player, as Kyle was talking about earlier in the broadcast, that Jurgen Klinsmann really likes. He likes his ability to play the ball out from centre-back. He's a former central midfielder. There was nothing at all that Tim Howard could do about that. Bradley, he's been everywhere so far tonight. With Scotland, I think the second goal, Carl, was almost like a dose of smelling salts for the Scots, wasn't it?
Well, it definitely lit a fuse a little bit. They upped the energy. A lot of the players in the midfield moving around a little more to try to get open, get on the ball, interchanging. Maloney and Phillips have been switching sides, trying to find a way to get on the ball. They've definitely responded. We're a little bit fortunate to equalize, but that ball in was glorious, and Jurgen Klinsmann immediately looked down, scratched his forehead, and shook his head. That defensive lapse in the back is something he's going to talk to his team about.
Oh, Donovan, that's magnificent. Was he shoved in the back? No, says the referee. I think some 40,000 people here in Jacksonville possibly spotting a foul. Well, there are a few here from the Tartan Army who will applaud the play on. MacArthur. Mulgrew. Into no man's land. It's the first goal that the USA have conceded so far this year. 3 1-0 victories in 2012 so far. The 2 games I mentioned against Venezuela and Panama, that famous 1-0 victory thanks to Clint Dempsey's second half goal against Italy. Down the line for Cameron. Nicely chested by Jones. Here's Donovan. Boyd is peeling towards the penalty area. There's a man over here. It's Bradley again. Onto the right foot. Tries the chip. The curler. McGregor was behind it. Not enough strength on the shot this time from Michael Bradley. But once again, cute play by the Americans. In the 1990 World Cup as a player, Jurgen Klinsmann with Germany. The 1996 European Championships as well. Throw into the USA as we approach the 20-minute mark. Fabian Johnson to take it from Hoffenheim in Germany. Father a US serviceman, mother German. One of 3 or 4 players in this US squad to take that route. And it's paying dividends for the US at the moment. Mulgrew. Caldwell. Bardsley. MacArthur. Here's Mulgrew again. Only his second cap for Scotland. Maloney of Wigan Athletic scored a winning goal against Manchester United just a few months ago. Defended this time by Jeff Cameron. A little untidy by the Americans in getting that ball clear. Andy Webster for Scotland. Bardsley to the feet of Scott Brown in an advanced position. Paddy Miller found himself in a wide position. MacArthur tips it into the penalty area with the flags up. Decent looking volley by Matt Phillips. It won't count. Phillips earning his first Scotland cap tonight. This time last week he was playing in one of the richest games in world football, the promotion playoff from the English second division to the English Premier League. Matt Phillips on the losing side, unfortunately for him. The game was taking place exactly a week ago today at Wembley Stadium in front of 73,000 people. West Ham United, a London club, were the winners. Now from the United States into the penalty area, a weaving run. Webster with a challenge. It's still there, deflected shot by Terence Boyd, and it's gone wide. First time we've really seen Boyd tonight, Kyle. He's somebody that Jurgen Klinsmann rates very highly indeed, isn't he?
Well, first time we saw him, and first time we saw Johnson get forward on that side. Puts his head down, takes players on. He's so good attacking, and Boyd's hungry. He said in training the other day, he got down on himself when he kept missing chances. He's a hungry, passionate forward. Jurgen Klinsmann loves that.
In light of what's happened with Timmy Chandler, who's backed out after playing 6 or 7 friendlies, Klinsmann told us that Boyd is all in. Torres with the corner. Edu was at the back post. It's headed clear. Not all the way though. Bradley, edge of the area. Opportunity now. That surely is a foul in a very dangerous position. And Fabian Johnson. And here's an opportunity perhaps for a Landon Donovan or a Torres to really test McGregor here.
Well, it's funny. You saw Torres. He actually just pulled the ball back a little bit. He's going to take this early. Oh, right off the crossbar.
He's clipped the top of the bar. Taken quickly. We've seen Henry do that a couple of times, most notably for Arsenal a couple of years ago, then for the Red Bulls again this year.
The referee is saying, do you want 10 yards? And he says, no, I want to go. I want to take this free kick. And if you ask the referee for 10 yards, then you have to wait for the whistle as he counts it off. But the referee put his hands up, asked him. Scotland wasn't paying attention, and he had a great chance to put that in an empty net.
The Scots have just sort of passively formed a wall there, Kyle, haven't they? Unawares of what was going on.
You're always taught when you're young, if you're the first guy, get close to the ball, so he can't do that. He can't take a quick free kick. And here it is, the fourth official over with Jurgen Klinsmann talking about it. That was completely okay. Stepped up, didn't have to wait for the whistle, and unfortunate not to see that come underneath the bar.
Good timing in by Edu. It was a wayward pass towards Torundolo. The game being played at a high tempo here, entertaining a large crowd in Jacksonville. Mulgrew looks to curl it around, but it was too close to Tim Howard. Had 2 men coming in at the back post there. Kenny Miller was one of them, Matt Phillips the other. Will be challenged by Gary Caldwell. Here's Landon Donovan. Torundolo outside of it, the veteran. Donovan continues his run. Good solid challenge. Torundolo just asking if it's a free kick or a throw. It is a free kick. It was a foul. Sean Maloney.
Jurgen Klinsmann's so close to me, you might even pick it up on the mic one of these times. He's yelling at his outside backs to go, get forward, get wide, get up the field. He wants those players to be the ones initiating this outside flank play.
Oh, we've just seen the centre of the field there. Scott Brown and Maurice Edu. There's going to be another clash here in a second. Edu lays it off quickly. No love lost between those two. Rangers against Celtic. Had a little set two there. Here come the Americans down the left-hand side. There's a slice shot wide. US Soccer on the NBC Sports Network is presented by the amazing picture quality of Panasonic Viera HD TVs and by Century 21. Century 21 agents, smarter, bolder, faster. 2-1 to the home side. Michael Bradley's sensational strike, adding to Landon Donovan in the 4th minute. A Jeff Cameron own goal in reply for Scotland. Donovan gives it away this time to MacArthur. Scott Brown. Phillips. Brown claims he was tripped by Terence Boy. Not so, says referee Bonilla. Mulgrew. Brown again. Nice touch. The Scots just keeping possession here. They'll be warming up themselves. They've got one more friendly in August against Australia before they embark on their World Cup qualification campaign in a very tough group against Serbia, Croatia, Belgium, Macedonia and Wales. Scotland last qualified for the World Cup finals in 1998 when the tournament was held in France. Before that, they qualified for 7 of the previous 8. They only missed 1994 here in the United States. Craig Levein has the job of getting the Scots back to the top table of international football. The 8 World Cup finals that they've taken part in, they never made it out of the 4-team first round group. McGregor smartly off his line. They had a famous win over the Netherlands in 1978, but they've always found a way to blow it, Scotland, down the years, much to the chagrin and heartbreak of the Tartan Army, who do travel all over the world to watch their heroes in action. MacArthur, dispossessed by Jones. Terence Boyd, Bradley ahead of him, just tries to slide it through. It was good defending in the end by MacArthur. Mulgrew. Brown. Phillips. Kenny Miller. There's a good darting run down the centre of the field. Just pulling towards the ball, then away. Bocanegra and Cameron are really going to have to keep their eye out on Kenny Miller tonight. Goal scorer supreme for many years.
When the majority of his goals have come from just that, tiptoeing that back line and flirting with that offside line, waiting for that timing, waiting for that ball in and sneaking in, and we saw him already in this game get behind him.
He told us last night, Carl, didn't he, that after Scotland training that he quite fancied a stint in Major League Soccer. 32 years old, Kenny Miller. There he is.
Well, he talked to his buddy Boyd up in Portland. Said he heard good things about the league, and his eyes lit up a little bit when we said, hey, would you come over to the MLS? What did he ask? He asked if you'd be his agent, didn't he?
He did. We negotiated a deal. 10%. 10%? Yeah, I'm not a good negotiator. With the salary cap in Major League Soccer, that's not going to get me rich. Here's Brown. Ooh. Bumped off the ball by Bocanegra. Now, there's a little bit of retribution there, I think, for his Rangers teammate Maurice Edu, and that again is another example of this subplot that's going on in this game. Bocanegra and Edu, Glasgow Rangers players, that man, the representation of Celtic, their arch rivals, the captain, Scott Brown.
Well, I've been on the other end of this plenty of times in training camps. Try to play a 1-2 around Carlos Bocanegra, and that is a sturdy defender. You do not want to run into Carlos Bocanegra.
USA number 3, Carlos Bocanegra.
Can Scotland produce here as we approach the half-hour mark? There's a chip on the edge of the penalty area. Barry Bannon with it, well wide. An interesting observer today. There's the US internationals that haven't dressed. Clint Dempsey, centre of your screen. 23 goals in all competitions for Fulham in England. 17 of them in the EPL. Only Robin van Persie, Wayne Rooney and Sergio Aguero scored more goals in the EPL this year. I wonder where he'll be come September, maybe even August. He stated a desire to join a team that will compete in the Champions League. He says he owes Fulham an awful lot. They've given him a real opportunity to make his mark in world football, but it's time perhaps for him to move on, and we'll speak to Clint Dempsey in extra time, our post-game show here in Jacksonville tonight.
Well, a testament to how amazing his season was. He deserves to be in those conversations, to make a move to a team that's going to play in the Champions League. And Fulham have been good to him, and he's been good to Fulham. But when a goal scorer is getting the respect of other goal scorers and other coaches in the Barclays Premier League, that's when you start hearing rumors.
Donovan's take a quick blow there as he tried to help that ball on. Looking for the run at the back post of Phil Bardsley, that cross. He was nowhere near it. Of course, Landon Donovan had a really good spell for Everton again this season. Goal scorer tonight, Landon Donovan. He's recently stated that he'd love to go back if Everton want him, if LA Galaxy agree. He assisted on a goal in February against Chelsea for Everton, who, of course, last weekend won the Champions League in a penalty shootout over Bayern Munich, one of Jurgen Klinsmann's former clubs. Here's Donovan again, central position, trying to thread it through the eye of a needle towards Boyd. Caldwell with some work to do here. It's a throw in. Challenged by Bocanegra. Jones, Edu. Jermaine Jones.
One thing the United States need to be careful about is all of that interchanging so many players centrally. You can't have everyone on top of one another in the center of the park 3 or 4 yards away. Someone needs to check out of that space and stretch like Landon Donovan's doing right now.
He's been replaced on the right-hand side by Steve Cherundolo, who's got acres of space out there, and he's found by Bradley. Teasing set towards Boyd. It's a free kick. He was just a little bit overzealous in that challenge with Gary Caldwell, but Gary Caldwell is a big unit, Kyle, and Terence Boyd, he doesn't mind a challenge, does he, in the air?
You see the hunger. Every time the ball comes into the box, he'll battle for it. He'll put his head, he'll put his body in the way, and you can see he's a little raw. At times he checks back and gets a little bit of that happy feet, that young player trying to make an impression. But he's held the ball up well a few times. He's always in the box when service comes in there.
Many thought that Chris Wondolowski would get a start tonight in this game. Josie Altidore expected in camp on the 28th of May after a long and successful season with Alkmaar in Holland. He would be the first choice striker, but Jurgen Klinsmann is very high on Terence Boyd, who played for Borussia Dortmund's reserve team in the 4th level of German football. Scored 20 goals. He'll be getting a move to a higher level. In fact, Jurgen Klinsmann telling us last night he thinks he'll get a move to another Bundesliga club, the first division, the Premier League, if you will, of German football.
Well, think about the striker options he has right now. Clint Dempsey, 23 goals in all competitions. Josie Altidore, 19 goals in all competitions. You have Hercules Gomez, 19 goals in all competitions. Chris Wondolowski is practically scoring a goal a game in MLS. And you have Terence Boyd scoring 20 goals with that team and still coming in with the first team and getting opportunities to practice with them. And Jurgen Klinsmann thinks he's going to get that opportunity to play in the big league.
Made it to the bench for Borussia Dortmund, who won the championship this year. And here's Maurice Edu. Bradley. Jermaine Jones. Side of the fullback is a very good one. Johnson is forward. The ball is still in the penalty area. Will challenge for this one, Terence Boyd. Scotland skillfully bring the ball clear. Well, it is a friendly. It's perhaps a good job for Jermaine Jones, because that looked like a yellow card offence.
Well, that's silly from Jermaine Jones. There's another player right there, Torres, who can make the play. Beautiful outside of the left foot pass to start that play. Gets cut out. they come the other way, and there's a player there to make a challenge. And if you're thinking about this, like Jurgen Klinsmann said, a 5-game series, if you're treating this like a tournament, that's a silly mistake to make when yellow cards add up. And if you want to have that mentality, you have to treat this like the real thing.
Andy Webster for Scotland then, trailing by 2 goals to 1. Barry Bannon. First time from Mulgrew. Straight to Chirundalo. Continues his run, the veteran, towards the corner of the penalty area. Boy, can he help it on. It's still in there. Michael Bradley was at the scene. Thrown to the USA. The Scottish bench were on their feet remonstrating with the linesman and the referee, trying to influence them to give in a free kick. Bradley. Cameron finds Donovan in space. Instinctively turns round, surges into it. Nice turn from Torres. And he finds Donovan again, not this time. Good distribution out of the back there by Jeff Cameron, Carl, wasn't it?
That's what he likes. So sure of himself, a crisp, hard pass. He already has his mind made up. He's so good with the ball at his feet that he doesn't have any wasted movement, any wasted touches.
If you're Jeff Cameron, you've only played 3 internationals before tonight. Big test for him, having given away that own goal. Not a great deal he could have done about it. The header was into his mid-drift. It wrong-footed Tim Howard. A real test of character tonight.
Well, against some forwards who have scored goals all over Great Britain in the top leagues. Maloney, incredible career when he was young at Celtic, then Aston Villa, back to Celtic, now Wigan. And they have Kenny Miller score goals all over the place. These are very competent forwards.
They do. Boy dispossessed this time. Here comes Scotland. Matt Phillips. Now Bardsley. Making it down the channel is Kenny Miller. Well, cross comes in, needs to be dealt with, and it is. Ground for Scotland. Kenny Miller. Bardsley again. Edge of the area into the feet of Phillips. Now Bardsley, deep cross towards the back post, and Sean Maloney was there. Still in play, Mulgrew. Chance of another cross. Here it comes. Punch clear by Howard. Jones gives it away, but a chance of a breakaway. Torres. Away goes Landon Donovan. Bradley ahead of him. Boyd ahead of him. Here it comes. Is this the moment? Still there for the USA. Torres up against Bardsley. Works it on his right foot. Tries to find Landon Donovan.
Well, every time they pick up that ball in transition, Jurgen Klinsmann almost sprints with them, yelling at players, go, go, go. He just spread right past me, screaming at Landon Donovan, and they've been quick on the counterattack. Even Chirundalo trying to join that one. Ball played a little too far ahead of Boyd in the air. Tough to try to bring that down. Catches it with the sole of his foot.
The chance of USA now ringing around Everbank Field. They're enjoying themselves here in Jacksonville.
Scotland have dropped off a little bit. Now you see that 4-5-1.
Bradley, diagonal ball. Waits here for Donovan.
Well, Levine screaming at his team right now off to my right to step out. Doesn't like how deep and compact they are right now, letting the United States easily move the ball around 40 yards out from their goal.
Torres is central here for the USA. Vision from Jones. Bradley inches forward. Quite a fancy one from distance again there, Michael Bradley. Shows patience instead. They do. Very tight and compact on the edge of that Scotland penalty area, but they've won possession back again here, the United States. He's got to be happy with some of the interplay out there, considering they haven't played for a few months together. Kenny Miller at the other end now, end-to-end stuff here in Jacksonville. Waiting for support, he's played that behind. And away come America again. They're playing confidently, Kyle.
Well, they are. They're finding a little bit of a rhythm. Scotland, great response to going 2-0 down. They started to get a rhythm. They started to get on the ball. And the United States now moving the ball around a little bit crisper. Landon Donovan giving that one away.
Gaps are starting to appear around the field in the 41st minute.
Well, the trouble is, as Scotland gets tired, they're going to be compact in that 4-5-1. You have to find a way to break them down, and it's not through those little tiny passes in the middle. It's through overloading one side of the field, letting Scotland shift over, quickly changing the point of attack and springing an outside back.
Torres in a very central position once again for the USA, and here's Jones. Cerundolo. Darting ahead of him is Landon Donovan. Corner of the area, Torres. Bradley. Edu. Working the ball across the field. Oh, here's an opportunity. A drive comes in from Terence Boyd. Left-footed. And it's a corner kick.
This is a great turn. You see the United States pulled all of the Scotland players this side of the field, quickly changed the point of attack, and look at the space that opens up for Boyd at the top of the box. Great touch with outside of his right foot, already spinning to get it onto his left. Low, hard, far post from a little bit of a deflection.
Second corner of the match then for the United States. We approach the final 3 minutes of the first half. Torres will take it. For the red and white hoops, but it's the blue shirts of Scotland who get the ball clear. There's a US player down on the ground, Jones. Now slowly back to his feet. Donovan towards the back post, and it's a leap from Terence Boyd. Cost a little too high for him this time. There was a glint in Jurgen Klinsmann's eye when he spoke about Terence Boyd last night, no doubt about it. He will score goals.
They want him to use that size and his athletic ability to push that back line back, to tiptoe on the back line. And his club, Borussia Dortmund, only 21 years old. Still a long career left for him. And if Jurgen Klinsmann's eyes light up like that, you know you have a talented player.
Takes one to know one, doesn't it? He came on as a substitute against Italy for Clint Dempsey for the last 11 minutes of that match. This is first start tonight. He is dropping deep this time to Bradley. Jones galloping towards that Scotland back line, waiting for support. It arrives from Cerundolo. 3 American players in the box, into the area to Jones. He's mishit it. It was a super breakaway by the United States. Alan McGregor relieved to watch that one go wide of his right-hand post. The culmination of the NHL season is almost upon us. Wednesday night, the Stanley Cup final gets underway. New Jersey Devils against the LA Kings. The NBC Sports Network. Each team tonight allowed to make 6 substitutions. It is a friendly international. As we go into the last minute of the first half, expect changes at half-time. Kenny Miller instrumental in the Scotland goal. And They love to be level at half-time. What can they produce in the closing stages of this first stanza? Bannon, Mulgrew. Good run in that time by Sean Maloney, bought himself a yard. Well anticipated by Bradley. They win it back against Scotland. They do with a sliding fair challenge. Full-blooded, wholehearted stuff in the midfield. That was a do against Barry Bannon. He caught in controversy, Barry Bannon, recently by declaring an interest in playing for the Great Britain side at the London Olympic Games. Such a controversial situation. Great Britain don't normally put a team into the Olympics. They have decided to do so because they're hosting the Games. But there's a fear on the behalf of Northern Ireland, of Wales and of Scotland, smaller football nations, that they'll lose their autonomy under FIFA if they allow this tournament and support this tournament a unified Great Britain team. So they've advised their players, they've demanded that their players don't play for a Great Britain side. They've sanctioned a team to be allowed to play in London 2012. They wanted to be full of Englishmen. Bannon said, I didn't realise my countrymen felt as strongly as they do. We'll wait and see if he makes it. And of course David Beckham. Kenny Miller, another cracking challenge, crisp from Maurice Edu. Now had the minute of time added on. And right on cue, Elmer Bonilla blows the half-time whistle. Landon Donovan got us underway. 4th minute. Rasping shot into the roof of the net. Even better from Michael Bradley. Kenny Miller then involved. His header deflected off Jeff Cameron for the Scotland goal. Entertaining so far in Jacksonville. The half-time report to come. The USA 2, Scotland 1.